Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how I am going to restring up my clothesline and what material I'm using and how I'm going to keep it tight. In this new house we already have a clothesline in place, but the strings or cables as they are here are super saggy, worn out, and the plastic coating and stuff is coming off. So I'm going to go ahead and put some fresh new lines on it, and eventually I'm going to paint the ends. The legs are a gray color right now, and I'm going to kind of sand and scrape all of the peeling paint off of them because it's pretty peely and in bad shape, and I'm just going to probably paint them black. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to show you the materials that I'm going to use and how I'm going to keep those lines tight, because I know it's super frustrating when you spend all this time putting up new lines and you pull them just as tight as you possibly can, and then you come back and after one use they are sagging again. So I'm going to show you how to keep the lines tight. Alright, so in my case, I already have lines up and they need to come down, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the wire with some wire cutters, and then I'm going to have to get a couple pair of pliers and pry off all of the twisted wire that is around the eye bolts. So as far as the actual material used for clotheslines, stringing up a clothesline, there's a few different types of materials that you can use. For one, you can use the metal wire with the plastic coating on it, which is basically what I just removed. Although I think that what they had used on here was a multi-purpose wire and not actual clothesline wire, which you could also use if you wanted to. And there's also a synthetic line, like a polyethylene line, I believe. So nylon, basically, a nylon line. Of course, there's lots of different lines I'm sure that people use, but these are lines specifically for like clothesline use, right? And also, obviously, you could go with a natural cotton line. So all of the different lines have benefits and downsides to them. So you basically are gonna have to, it's going to come down to personal preference and what you think that you would like the best. No line is going to last forever, so if you do try a line and you end up not liking it, it doesn't work out for you, just try a different kind of line the next time. So for me, like I said, they had a, what I believe is a multi-purpose wire line on here, and it was a wire, a pretty thick gauge wire with a plastic coating on top, and I will show you that here in a second. But I chose to not go that route with my new lines. I didn't think that it would be the best choice for me, and I'll tell you why. I chose not to go that route because the negatives for me were, one, the plastic coating will crack and it will break and it will chip off, and then I don't want to put my clothes wherever those cracks are because you could risk getting stains, like rust stains and things on your clothes. That's kind of a downside for me. Another downside to it is that it's really skinny. So especially if you get stuck with the cheap new age China clothespins, they don't clamp very well, right? And clothespins are made to grip onto something of a decent size. So of something, a thicker rope or cotton rope or nylon or something is much bigger around than your line is. So I found personally that especially my lighter weight clothing, like t-shirts and things, didn't have enough material in the clothespin, and so even the slightest breeze would push the clothes and kind of make them clump up, and so they weren't all spread out and nice. They would all kind of blow to one end of the clothesline and all be kind of, you know, stuck in a clump instead of nice and spread out over the line. So that was super annoying to me, and one thing that I wanted was for that to not happen. So I do want to get more nice clothespins, and I also thought if I could get a thicker material instead of that wire, that would make me super happy. So also I know that my clothesline is pretty much 100% direct sunlight. Yeah, there is one tree over here, but I don't think it's close enough that during the summertime that it's going to do any sort of shading for the clothesline. So I know that my clothesline is going to be in direct sunlight all day, every day. And so that'll really wear on that plastic coating a lot too and make it last even less time. So for me, I was considering basically the nylon or the cotton. I went and looked at my local tractor supply store, and they really only had a couple options. They didn't have a 100% cotton rope option. But I knew that I didn't want nylon, and the reason I didn't want nylon is because one of the negatives is nylon is super slippery. So it is a really slick line, and I thought I don't want to have the same problem with that. It is thicker, but if it's really slippery, it might be really annoying. So anyways, I did find this rope here that I decided to go with, and it is a cotton poly blend. So this is a sash line, which basically is made for the older windows that have like the cables and weights in them. And but it's also used multi-purpose for things like clothesline and other things around the farm. So I thought I would give it a try. It does have a 52-pound working load limit, so that should be plenty for a clothesline. They say 2 loads of laundry per line or something, depending on how long your lines are. Mine are probably about 30 to 35 foot or so. And so you really need about 17 to 35 pound weight limit. So 52 should be plenty as far as holding the weight of wet laundry. And yeah, so I'm going to go with this. This is a cotton poly blend. So hopefully it's the best of both worlds. It will have more of a mold and mildew resistance because of the poly, and the natural cotton makes it less slippery and hopefully hold all of my clothes in place. So yeah, I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to show you how I actually string this up, because I know there is a lot of videos of making clotheslines, and then a lot of times you see people just making the actual end of the clothesline and maybe putting them in the ground, but they don't actually show how they string up said clothesline. And I know that it's pretty popular to do the what do you call it, the cables on there that you can, like a pulley system, and I do not have a pulley system, nor do I need it, and I have 5 lines here, so that's plenty, and it's right near the house, and yeah, so there's really no reason for me personally to have a pulley system. So I'm going to show you how you do it kind of this old-fashioned way with no pulley system, and how I string it up. So at this end here, this is the end farthest away from the house, I'm going to go ahead and use a knot to knot the rope, the line on these eye bolts over here, and then at the other end I'm going to do something different, and it's going to help me to keep these lines nice and tight the way that I want them. So I'm going to use a bowline knot here, so I'll show you close up how to do that knot, and then I'll show you how to do it up here on the clothesline. Alright, so hopefully we have a good angle here. So here is the end. This end of my rope is connected to like the entire rope, okay? And this is my working line. So to do a bowline knot, you're going to lay your rope out, and I'm going to take my working end and go over the top of my rope. And then I'm going to take the working end and go underneath of that line. Alright, so now and I'm going to go up. So now you notice both the working end and the other end are both up side by side. So now I'm going to take the working end again, and I'm going to go behind or underneath that line this time. Okay? And now I'm going to grab that working end and come in front and down right where I just came up. Now I'm going to go down. And I'm going to grab both of these and the top and pull together. Alright, so now you can see it coming together here. And now we have our finished knot. So this is where we are going to be connecting onto the, in my case, an eye bolt, but whatever you have on your clothesline, that's what we're going to be connecting to on the clothesline. So now I will go ahead and take this apart and show you how to do it up on your clothesline. Alright, so it's a little bit more challenging to do up at this angle. So again, we're going to take the working end and cross it over the rope. Now I'm going to take that working end and come down through my eye bolt. And then I'm going to come up behind my rope. So now I kind of have, here's my two ends at the top, and I have my loops here. Okay? Now I'm going to go behind the rope, like this, and come down through where I just came up. And I'm going to grab both of those and pull together at the same time. Okay, so here is our knot. Now I want this loop to be tighter so that I can hang clothes as close to this loop as I can. So I'm going to feed this line through till the hole is about the size that I want, which is quite small, about like this. And then I'm just going to pull that working end through. Okay, so now I have a nice small knot. I'm nice and close to that. And I'm ready to take it to the other end. Alright, so I'm going to now grab my line and bring it down to the other end and show you how I'm going to connect it over there to keep this line nice and tight. Now, of course, you don't have to use this knot. You can use any knot. So, at this end, I'm not going to use a knot because I want it to be adjustable. If it gets loose, I can tighten it up anytime I want and not have to undo any knots. So, nowadays, they have these great little inventions called a clothesline tensioner. And I've already got them clipped up here. But let me take one off. Alright, so this is what a clothesline tensioner looks like. You can get them on Amazon, and they carry them even in stores like Lowe's or Home Depot maybe. I got mine at Lowe's, and they were about $5.50 a piece or so. Of course, you can get them on Amazon as well, and they're anywhere between $7 or $8 a piece to $9-10 for a 2-pack or whatever. I'm sure that they're probably all manufactured at the same place and then sold to different companies to sell. Anyways, so, but anyways, they're pretty cheap. You only need one per line, obviously. And then, so that end I did a knot, so this end I'm going to put my tensioner on. Alright, so if you have a bolt similar to this, these tensioners, one side of this little loop comes out of the hole. You just got to figure out which side it is. So now I can finagle that right through the bolt and put that back in the hole, and now I am connected to my end here, and now I'm going to feed my line through. So my line is a 100-foot line, so it's going to take a while. I could pre-cut it, that would probably work too, but I just want to make sure that I don't cut and too long and then waste a bunch of line. So at this end you can see there is 3 little balls in there. Like if you pull this end, those move up, allowing for those balls to loosen, and then we can stick our line through there. It can be kind of a pain in the butt. You could put some electrical tape at the end and it'll help you feed it through, but my end here is pretty tight together, so it should go in pretty easy. You're going to pull that back so that those balls kind of spread apart, and then you can stick your line through there. It helps to do a little bit of a twist as you go. You could even start this before you hang it up, be a little bit easier. Alright, so now you can pull this all the way through until your line is tight. I have a ways to go because I just don't want to cut it and waste any rope, so I wanted to get it in place before I make that first cut. Of course, you could measure. Okay, so we got that nice and tight. At least that's as tight as I can get it. And that's what it looks like. So now I'm gonna just grab some scissors and I'm gonna cut this. Now I'm not gonna cut it way up here. I'm gonna cut down a little bit, leave some rope hanging, and that way I'll have, next time if I come out and need to tighten it, then I have some rope that I can grab onto to help push it through. It's kind of like a Chinese finger trap, I suppose, because as the line goes through, those when it pulls back, that tension from those balls squeeze the line and don't allow it to go back through. You could even knot the end just in case you ever hit that and don't want it to slide all the way through and have to feed it back. But again, leave like a tag end here so that you have something to pull through when the next time you go to tighten it. So I'm going to string up the other 4 lines that I have left and trim all of my ends up. Alright, so to finish this end, I just put a little piece of black electrical tape at the end so it didn't fray, and wrapped it through the bolt to kind of keep it looking neat. I just did the same thing to each one. You could also burn your end depending on what kind of material you used. Cotton won't really burn and melt together, but if you have a synthetic, it'll probably melt nice, and you could just melt the end. But I didn't know how good, since this is cotton and poly, I didn't know how good it would actually melt together, so I just used the electrical tape, and we'll call that good. And at the end with the tensioner, I put a little piece of electrical tape around this area, and around this little part right here spins on mine, and as the wind was blowing, it was kind of making this little rattling noise, which was bugging me, so I put a little piece of tape on there so I didn't have to listen to this little piece rattling in the wind. So, and then I just I cut the strings all to the same length, and they have a knot at the end, and then I just tied them up on the loop there so that they were neat and tidy looking. I just did that to all of them. And I am done. Alright, so that is it. That is how I put up my new lines. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. So you should expect that at first your lines are going to stretch, and there's no getting around that. So go ahead and get your clothes out. Get them as tight as you can. Go do your laundry and get your clothes hanging out on your line, and expect for them to stretch at first. No matter what material you're using, you're going to have stretch, and that is the beauty of the clothesline tensioner. Is once you get those lines stretched out, you can go ahead and pull those tight again, and eventually you'll get less and less stretch, and each time you can just pull them tight and pull them tight, and eventually the line will really get stretched all that it's going to stretch, and you'll have a nice tight line. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful, and thanks for stopping by. I'll see you guys in the next video.